Something about that night at Dalian Airport felt different from the very first second. It was late, the air was heavy, and yet the terminal was unusually tense, as if everyone sensed that this was not just another celebrity arrival. People were not rushing forward out of excitement alone, but out of instinct, curiosity, and a quiet feeling that something important had already happened long before the plane touched down. When Liu Yuning appeared, moving quickly with his team, there was no familiar confidence on display, no relaxed interaction with the crowd. His expression was controlled, almost cautious, as though every step was calculated. A few moments later, whispers spread rapidly, not because of what he said, but because of what he did not. No gestures, no acknowledgement, just a steady pace through flashing lights and murmuring voices. Then came the second arrival, separated by time but connected by atmosphere. Zhao Lusi entered the terminal in near silence, and suddenly the noise around her felt louder by contrast. In that instant, many people realized they were not witnessing a routine update, but the visible edge of a story still unfolding, one that invited questions without offering answers, pulling everyone closer before they even understood why. From where I stood, close enough to see details most would miss, it became clear that fatigue was only part of the picture. This was not the tiredness that comes from travel alone. It was deeper, more restrained, the kind that settles into posture and expression. Liu Yuning kept his head slightly lowered, shielded by his cap, yet when his arm shifted briefly, something caught the attention of those watching carefully. Faint marks, subtle but unmistakably fresh, drew quick glances and hushed exchanges. No one rushed to conclusions, but no one dismissed it either. In moments like these, silence speaks louder than statements. His team tightened their formation, guiding him forward without pause, as if movement itself was a form of protection. The reaction around him was immediate. Phones lifted higher, eyes narrowed, and speculation began to move faster than any official explanation ever could. Zhao Lusi's arrival carried a different weight, quieter yet equally intense. Known for her openness and warmth, she moved through the terminal with an uncharacteristic reserve. Oversized sunglasses remained firmly in place, even under the artificial lights, and there was no familiar smile offered to reassure waiting fans. When she briefly bent down to retrieve something, the smallest slip revealed features that looked carefully concealed rather than casually covered. Some suggested it was simply heavy stage preparation. Others wondered whether it reflected the physical demands of recent weeks. What mattered most was not which interpretation was correct, but the fact that so many were searching for one. Her silence, paired with her composure, felt deliberate, as though maintaining control was essential in that moment. To understand why this brief airport appearance sparked such widespread attention, it helps to look back several weeks earlier. On the same day, both artists had quietly stepped away from their usual routines, announcing a temporary pause to focus on a special project. No details were offered, no timelines shared. In an industry built on constant visibility, absence alone can become a statement. Gradually, fragments of information began to surface. A private rehearsal space located far from city centers. Limited access. Confidentiality agreements that went far beyond the norm. Even long-standing collaborators were kept at a distance. This was not secrecy for promotion alone. It was structure, discipline, and isolation designed to protect something still in formation. As more voices from within the industry began to speak discreetly, a clearer picture emerged. This was not simply preparation for another performance. The project being developed carried expectations that reached far beyond a single stage. New material, crafted specifically for this collaboration, demanded both emotional depth and physical endurance. Choreography was said to be intricate, requiring trust and precision, while vocal arrangements pushed familiar boundaries. The scale of investment involved added another layer of intensity. With significant resources committed, the margin for error narrowed considerably. Excellence was not just encouraged, it was expected. Yet ambition always carries questions alongside admiration. Observers began to ask whether the pace and pressure were sustainable, whether creativity could truly thrive without adequate space for recovery. Specialists familiar with performance demands noted that visible signs of strain are not uncommon during periods of intensive preparation, especially when artists commit fully to exploring new ground. When managed responsibly, such effort can lead to remarkable results. When balance is lost, however, it can become a warning sign rather than a badge of dedication. This duality became central to the conversation surrounding that night. What made the situation resonate so strongly was not a single image or moment, but the contrast between public perception and private reality. Fans are accustomed to seeing polished outcomes, not the process that shapes them. Here, for just a moment, the process appeared to surface unexpectedly, unfiltered and unresolved. The airport became a crossroads where effort, expectation, and uncertainty briefly intersected. People were not simply reacting to rumors, they were responding to the human dimension of ambition, the visible reminder that remarkable achievements often come with unseen costs. As discussions continued online, opinions diverged, but interest remained high. Some viewers expressed admiration for the commitment required to attempt something truly new. Others voiced concern, hoping that creativity would not come at the expense of well-being. Both perspectives shared a common foundation: care. This was not idle curiosity, but engagement rooted in respect for the individuals involved and the work they were undertaking. In the days that followed, official channels remained measured and calm. No dramatic clarifications, no reactive statements. Instead, the focus gradually returned to anticipation. Whatever had occurred behind closed doors was now part of a larger narrative, one defined not by speculation alone, but by the promise of what was still to come. The absence of immediate answers allowed space for reflection, reminding audiences that not every story needs to be resolved instantly to hold meaning. As we wait to see how this collaboration ultimately unfolds, one thing is certain: that brief moment at Dalian Airport transformed a routine update into a shared experience, connecting viewers through curiosity, concern, and hope. It highlighted the quiet strength required to pursue ambitious goals and the importance of recognizing the effort behind the scenes. Sometimes, the most powerful chapters of a story begin not on stage, but in the pauses between appearances, where reality quietly reveals itself. If you found this update insightful and want to continue exploring the real stories behind the headlines, we invite you to subscribe to Update X 24 Hours. Your support helps us bring thoughtful, respectful coverage that looks beyond the surface and connects moments into meaningful narratives. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Stay curious, stay engaged, and we look forward to sharing the next chapter with you very soon.